You're at a party. You've been talking to someone for 5 minutes about the weather and traffic. The conversation dies. Awkward silence. You both smile nervously, and then they walk away. You wanted to have a real conversation, but you didn't know what to ask.
I've been there so many times. When I was living in Australia, I met someone at a coffee shop who seemed really interesting. We talked about the weather, then about coffee, and then nothing. The conversation just stopped. I had no idea how to take it deeper. I wanted to ask something more interesting, but I was afraid of being too personal or too weird.
That's exactly what we're solving today. We're teaching you 25 questions organized into a simple system that takes you from boring small talk to real, meaningful conversations.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Paul. Welcome to English Together.
So, Olivia, why do so many English learners get stuck in surface-level conversations? I think it's fear. They're worried that if they ask something too personal, they'll make the other person uncomfortable, or they're afraid their English isn't good enough for deeper topics.
That's exactly right. And here's what happens. They play it safe and stick to small talk. Weather, traffic, work. Then the conversation dies because small talk can only last so long.
But the truth is, most people actually want to have more interesting conversations, right?
Absolutely. Research shows that people are happier after deeper conversations than after small talk. The problem isn't that people don't want meaningful dialogue, it's that no one knows how to transition from surface to substance.
So how do we do that without being awkward?
That's what we're teaching today with what we call the 3-level conversation ladder. Level 1 is the safe zone. These are surface questions that anyone can answer comfortably. Level 2 is the interest zone, questions that reveal personality and preferences. And level 3 is the connection zone, questions that create real, meaningful dialogue.
I love that it's a ladder, not a jump. You're not going from, how's the weather, straight to, what's your biggest fear?
Exactly. You climb one level at a time. And by the end of today's lesson, you'll have 25 questions organized by these 3 levels, plus the cultural understanding of when and how to use each one.
In the next 17 minutes, you'll learn how to move any conversation from boring to meaningful, step by step.
Let's start with level 1, the safe zone. These are questions you can ask anyone in any situation without making them uncomfortable. They're not deep, but they're essential because they build the foundation of trust.
So these are basically upgraded versions of small talk.
Exactly. Here are 6 safe zone questions that work in almost any context. Number 1, how is your day? Or how is your week going? These are classics for a reason. They're open-ended but low pressure.
What about what do you do?
That's number 2, what do you do or what kind of work do you do? Now, some people find this question boring, but it's actually a great starting point because work takes up so much of our lives. The key is to follow up with genuine curiosity.
What do you mean by follow up?
Don't just ask, what do you do, and then change the subject. Ask a follow-up, like, how did you get into that, or what do you like about it? That shows you're actually interested.
Oh, that makes sense. What's number 3?
Number 3, where are you from, or did you grow up around here? This is a universal question that works across cultures.
But what if they're from the same city as you? Doesn't that make it pointless?
Good question. If they say, yeah, I'm from here, you can ask, what neighborhood, or have you lived here your whole life? There's always a follow-up.
Okay, what's number 4?
Do you have any plans for the weekend, or are you doing anything fun this weekend? This is forward-looking and usually gets people excited to talk about their plans or hobbies.
I like that one because it's positive. People like talking about things they're looking forward to.
Exactly. Number 5, how do you know the host or the person who introduced you? This is perfect for parties, networking events, or any situation where you're meeting through a mutual connection.
And number 6?
Have you been to this place before? If you're at a restaurant, event, or location, this question is always relevant. It can lead to recommendations or shared experiences.
Okay, so those 6 questions are the safe zone. But Paul, here's my concern. These still feel like small talk. How do we move beyond this?
Great question. And that's exactly where most learners get stuck. They know how to ask these surface questions, but they don't know how to transition to something more interesting. That's why we have level 2.
Level 2, the interest zone.
Right. These questions reveal personality, preferences, and interests. They're still comfortable, but they're more engaging because they let the other person share what makes them unique.
Can you give me an example of the difference?
Sure. A level 1 question is, what do you do? A level 2 question is, what's the most interesting project you've worked on? See the difference? One is factual, the other is personal.
Oh, I see. Level 2 questions have more depth.
Exactly. Here are 9 level 2 questions for the interest zone. Number 1, what do you like to do in your free time? Or what are your hobbies? These are safe but more personal than asking about work or weather.
What's number 2?
Number 2, what kind of music do you listen to? Or what are you watching on Netflix these days? Pop culture questions are fantastic because everyone has opinions and they're low stakes.
Those are easy. What about travel?
Number 3, what's your favorite place you've ever traveled to? Or where would you love to travel next? Travel questions almost always lead to interesting stories.
I love that. What's number 4?
Number 4, what's something you've been wanting to learn or try? This question reveals ambitions and interests without being too heavy.
Oh, that's clever. It's forward-looking and optimistic.
Right. Number 5, what's the best meal you've had recently? Or are you a good cook? Food is universal, and people love talking about it.
What about books?
Number 6, have you read any good books lately? Or what's the last thing you read? Even if they don't read much, they'll usually have something to say.
Okay, what's number 7?
Number 7, what's something most people don't know about you? This is where we start getting more interesting. It's an invitation to share something unique without being too invasive.
That's a good one. I can see how that would lead to more interesting conversation.
Number 8, if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? This is a classic question that reveals values and interests.
And number 9?
Number 9, what would you do if you won the lottery? Or if money wasn't an issue, what would you do with your time? These hypothetical questions are fun and reveal what people truly value.
Okay, I need to tell you about my awkward story with level 2 questions. When I was at a meetup event in London, I was talking to someone and I asked them, "What's your passion?" I thought it was a great question to show I wanted a deeper conversation, but they looked so uncomfortable. They said, I don't know. I guess I like my job. It was so awkward.
Oh no, what happened?
I realized later that what's your passion is too intense for someone you just met. It's almost a level 3 question. I should have started with something easier, like, what do you like to do on weekends?
That's such a valuable lesson, and this is exactly why we're teaching the Lauder approach. You can't jump to level 3 questions with someone you just met. You need to build rapport first.
So when do you know you're ready for level 3?
Great question. You move to level 3 when the other person is engaged, the conversation is flowing naturally, and you've been talking for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Level 3 is the connection zone. These are questions that create meaningful dialogue and real connection.
Okay, pause for 1 second. We've just given you 15 questions across level 1 and level 2, but here's the thing. You need to practice saying them out loud or they won't come naturally in real conversations.
So right now, say this question with me. Ready?
Say, what's something you've been wanting to learn or try?
Go ahead, say it out loud right now, even if you're alone. We'll wait.
Did you do it? If you said it out loud, you're already ahead of 90% of learners. That's how you build the confidence to actually use these questions in real conversations.
All right, let's move to level 3, the connection zone. These are deeper questions that create meaningful conversations. But remember, only use these after you've built some rapport. Never lead with these questions.
So what makes a question level 3?
Level 3 questions invite reflection, vulnerability, or deeper sharing. They're not superficial. They get to what someone thinks, feels, or values.
Can you give me some examples?
Absolutely. Here are 10 level 3 questions for the connection zone. Number 1, what's been the highlight of your year so far? This invites storytelling and positive reflection.
I like that it's positive, not heavy.
Exactly. Number 2, what's something you're really proud of? This lets people share accomplishments without bragging.
What about challenges? Can you ask about those?
Yes, but carefully. Number 3, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? Only ask this if the person seems comfortable and the conversation is already quite open.
That makes sense. What's number 4?
What's a lesson you learned the hard way? This invites storytelling and usually leads to interesting experiences.
Ooh, I love that question. What's number 5?
What does a perfect day look like for you? This reveals values and priorities in a non-threatening way.
That's beautiful. It's deep, but not uncomfortable.
Right. Number 6, what are you most grateful for right now? Gratitude questions are powerful because they're positive and meaningful at the same time.
What about goals? Can you ask about those?
Absolutely. Number 7, what's something you're working toward right now? This is forward-looking and shows you care about their growth.
What's number 8?
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? This is reflective and often leads to profound conversations.
That's powerful. What about number 9?
What makes you feel most alive? Or when do you feel most like yourself? These questions get to the core of who someone is.
Wow, those are deep. What's number 10?
What's something you believe that most people disagree with? This is for very open conversations where both people are comfortable debating or discussing different perspectives.
Okay, I can see how these would create real conversations, but I'm worried. What if I ask a level 3 question and the person doesn't want to answer?
Great concern. And here's what you need to know. There's no shame in asking a deeper question. If someone doesn't want to answer, they'll usually say something like, I'd have to think about that. Or they'll give a brief answer and change the subject. That's their way of saying, I'm not ready to go there.
So what do you do in that situation?
You just respect it and move back to a level 2 question. You might say, no worries, I know that's a big question. What about this instead? And then ask something lighter.
That makes me feel better. So it's okay if they don't want to answer.
Absolutely. Confident communicators read social cues and adjust. Never feel embarrassed for trying to have a meaningful conversation. Most people appreciate the effort, even if they're not ready to go deep.
Now I want to share another awkward moment. When I was at a dinner party in Chicago, I had just met someone, and within 5 minutes, I asked them, "What are you most passionate about?" They gave me a weird look and said, my family, I guess. It felt so forced.
What did you learn from that?
I learned that timing matters. I jumped to level 3 way too fast. I should have spent more time in level 1 and level 2 first. Now I always make sure we're having a good conversation before I ask anything deep.
That's such an important lesson, and this brings me to the cultural aspect. In English-speaking cultures, especially in the US and Canada, people generally appreciate interesting questions, but you need to read the room.
What do you mean by read the room?
Pay attention to body language and energy. If someone is leaning in, making eye contact, and giving detailed answers, they're engaged. You can go deeper. If they're giving one-word answers, looking around, or checking their phone, keep it lighter.
That's really helpful. So it's not just about the questions, it's about paying attention to the other person's comfort level.
Exactly. And here's another cultural point. In some cultures, asking personal questions quickly is considered rude or intrusive. But in most English-speaking contexts, people appreciate when you show genuine interest in them as individuals, not just surface-level details.
So asking these questions is actually a sign of respect.
In most English-speaking cultures, yes. It shows you see them as more than just a stranger or acquaintance. You're interested in who they really are.
I love that perspective. Now, before we recap, I want to mention something. We've taught thousands of English learners how to have better conversations, and you know what we've noticed? The students who succeed aren't necessarily the ones with perfect grammar. They're the ones who ask interesting questions and show genuine curiosity.
That's so true. Conversation is about connection, not perfection. If you ask thoughtful questions and listen actively, people will enjoy talking to you, even if you make grammatical mistakes.
Exactly. So don't let fear of mistakes stop you from having meaningful conversations.
All right, let's do a comprehensive recap of the three-level conversation ladder.
Level 1, the safe zone. Surface questions that anyone can answer comfortably.
6 questions for the safe zone. How is your day, or how's your week going? What do you do, or what kind of work do you do? Where are you from, or did you grow up around here? Do you have any plans for the weekend? How do you know the host or a mutual connection? Have you been to this place before?
Level 2, the interests zone. Questions that reveal personality and preferences.
9 questions for the interest zone. What do you like to do in your free time? What kind of music do you listen to, or what are you watching these days? What's your favorite place you've traveled to, or where would you love to travel next? What's something you've been wanting to learn or try? What's the best meal you've had recently? Have you read any good books lately? What's something most people don't know about you? If you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be? What would you do if you won the lottery?
Level 3, the connection zone. Questions that create meaningful dialogue. Remember, only use these after building rapport.
10 questions for the connection zone. What's been the highlight of your year so far? What's something you're really proud of? What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? What's a lesson you learned the hard way? What does a perfect day look like for you? What are you most grateful for right now? What's something you're working toward right now? If you could give your younger self advice, what would it be? What makes you feel most alive? What's something you believe that most people disagree with?
And remember, climb the ladder one level at a time. Don't jump from weather talk to what's your biggest fear? Build rapport first.
Your action step for this week. In your next conversation, use at least one question from each level. Start with level 1, move to level 2 when they're engaged, and if the conversation is flowing, try one level 3 question.
Start with the ones that feel most natural to you and build from there. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become.
All right, we covered so much today, and we're really proud of you for sticking with us.
If this video helped you, please give it a like right now. It helps other English learners find this lesson.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to English Together. We post a new practical English lesson every week.
Now, here's our question for you. What's your go-to conversation question? Or have you ever asked a question that made things awkward because you went too deep, too fast? Maybe you asked someone, what's your biggest regret 5 minutes after meeting them? Or maybe you got stuck in weather talk for 20 minutes because you were too nervous to ask anything deeper.
Tell us your story in the comments. Olivia shared her What's Your Passion disaster in London and her forced dinner party question in Chicago, and I've definitely had my share of conversation fails. We read every comment and will reply to as many as we can. Plus, your story will help other learners feel less alone.
Remember, meaningful conversations aren't about being perfect. They're about being curious and genuine. You now have 25 questions organized by depth. You have the roadmap. You can do this.
And the beautiful thing is, the more you practice asking interesting questions, the more interesting conversations you'll have and the more confident you'll become.
Thanks for learning with us today.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.